Man, you can live like a king in another country, like I did in Colombia. These are the reasons why I could afford to live in Colombia and not here in the US. Reason number one, when I first got there, I didn't have to have a degree. I didn't have to have any type of certification, and I ended up teaching English and made decent money for myself. Of course, at the time, I didn't have kids, right? I was like 22, 23 years old. I was really young. However, it still applies. If you make, nowadays, if you're able to land a conversational online gig or online classes with a one-on-one student through a platform, let's just say you get paid 15 bucks an hour, which is nothing, right? So if you're getting paid $10 an hour, which I could tell you guys about a company in Cambly, which I did for many years, they pay 10 bucks an hour. That's like making $40 an hour over there. And teaching English, even if you don't want to just make $10 an hour, you can make more. You just have to certify yourself. And there's many ways to certify yourself. What I did after living there for a couple of years and getting a little bit of teaching experience, I took the TEFL certification. Teaching English is a foreign language. It's not too expensive and applies anywhere. That's usually what companies ask for nowadays. So that's definitely something that you should look into if you don't want to just settle for 10 bucks an hour. Now, if you don't feel comfortable teaching English online, now guys, we're in 2025. There are millions of online jobs that you can do, and like customer service. If you have some kind of degree, I would suggest trying to get a job or get experience to where you could do work from home, and then you move down there and then you get paid the same amount that you're getting paid here. You move down to Colombia and you get paid the same, man, you'd be a millionaire down there. Online jobs are the things that you should do if you're living down there in Colombia. Like me, for example, when I go down there, I'm going to continue teaching English, but I'm also going to do UGC work and doing just little gigs with Amazon. They send me a product, I make a short review video, I get paid $25, $50, $100. It just depends on what you negotiate with them. But don't forget, guys, $25 is like $100 down there. $100 is like $400 down there. So this is why it's favorable to live down there and not here. Second main reason why I chose to live down there is because of the healthcare. Guys, I for the longest time thought healthcare was super not as good down in Colombia. I thought it was like a lot better here in the States because the hospitals weren't as crowded and you didn't have to pay when you go to the hospital. But it wasn't until my wife started getting sick lately, this was sometime last year, and bills just kept racking up. I honestly hadn't been back in the States before 2018 for like 14-15 years, so things have changed a lot. Maybe they haven't. Actually, they probably got worse. So on the other hand, Colombia, you pay a set fee. Let's say you pay, like, you got a family of 5 like me, you pay like $100. Those $100 will cover your complete healthcare situation. Because when I was down there, I remember I was paying, like, for example, like $100, and it covered my wife, it covered my oldest, who at the time was 9 years old, 10 years old, and then my twins are on the way. So we didn't have bills coming from the hospital from when she gave birth to my twins. That's the beauty of it down there. Yeah, the hospitals could be a little bit crowded, but at the same time, you have to kind of learn to deal with that. It's not something that, okay, because you get used to those kind of things. And now, if you want to have a private doctor, you can pay another $100, which is not too bad, and they'll come to your house, or you can go to a private hospital. So imagine that, $200, just paying $200, you get really, really good service in terms of healthcare down in Colombia. Speaking of healthcare and living healthy and just taking care of your health in general, in my last video, I talked about how apples can rot like that down in Colombia, meaning that apples here in the States, they don't rot. 2 weeks later, after you buy them, they look exactly the same because of all the shit and chemicals that they put in them. In Colombia, for most part, they don't put that much chemicals on them, guys. So you could really eat healthy down there. So you're gonna save yourself a lot on healthcare in terms of, in the long run. And it's just so much nicer to enjoy eating not so much shit not so many fruits that have particles of plastic or anything that they put in our food here in the States. And I'm just talking about fruit. Don't get me started on meats. I'm not an expert on meats, but I know that meats are a lot fresher down there. and they got a lot of farms. Colombia is really huge on farms. Put it this way, when there's a strike, a lot of I think usually the farmers go on strike, or the truckers that work with the farmers, they go on strike. Man, Colombia, it just stops everything. Like, traffic is really bad. Why? Because people down there, they value the farmers. They value the truck drivers who transport and carry all these, the fruits and all these products from city to city. The fruits that they sell down there and the foods that they sell down there just has less chemicals in it. It's really amazing. It really amazes me, because when I first went down there, I was so young. I wasn't so used to eating that healthy, and I was like, oh my God, why isn't there a McDonald's around the corner? Like, I just wanted to, you know what I mean? Like, it's a Friday night, I just wanted to enjoy like a number one from McDonald's. At the time, it cost like $4. Imagine that. Those kind of things that you learn, and you just learn to value while you're down there. I mean, you can still get fast food down there, and it's not even as bad as it is here in the States. But why are you going to go eat fast food when you can eat the delicious fruits that they sell down there? And don't get me started on the variety of fruits that they have down there. Third reason why it is a lot cheaper to live in Colombia is because renting and owning a home is a lot more feasible. What do I mean by that? When I used to live there, I was an English teacher, and I became friends with one of the bank managers. And I remember we sat down, and he told me how easily I could buy an apartment just with the help of my credit and with having a good job at a private school. Now, okay, having a good job helps you, but also just being able to show that you make American money, you make American dollars, that's gonna be enough credibility to show the banks that you're gonna pay them back. So it's a lot easier to get loans down there, but also you could buy like a house. Let's say like you want to buy and invest a house or an apartment in, let's say, like a middle class neighborhood, but you want to rent it out. It's just a lot easier down there, guys, to be able to like jump through loopholes. So that way you could jump through loopholes and you don't have to go through so many, I don't know, here in the States, I feel like there's so many rules, so many regulations that you have to go through. Down there, I think the rules bend a little bit, so it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper as well. Also, when I was down there, I didn't have to go through like a huge credit check when I wanted to rent like my apartment studio. At the time, my wife and I were broken up, we were separated, and I ended up having to look for an apartment studio. So I just showed them that, hey, I had a really good job. I don't think I had the best credit at the time, but I just gave them a deposit, and they ended up renting the apartment studio to me easily. And the fifth reason why it's cheap to live in Colombia than it is here in the States is because you don't have to own a car in Colombia. You can easily get around either on an Uber or you can buy a motorcycle. Many people buy motorcycles down there. The weather is great, guys. If you guys live in Cali, where I was born, down there, year round, I mean, the weather is beautiful. It's like Miami. Yeah, it rains, but you buy yourself a raincoat or you wait till the rain stops. It's not a huge deal, guys. One, it's cheap to buy a motorcycle. Two, it's going to be cheaper to buy gasoline. You know, if you're just riding around by yourself with your girlfriend or wife, you have kids, then go ahead and Uber. That's what I did with my son and my wife. If we would go to the movies, we'd Uber. If my wife and I go out to have a drink or go out dancing, we'd Uber, because I didn't want to drink and drive on my motorcycle, obviously not. So it's just affordable, guys, because down there the prices are different than they are here, and down there it's not a common thing to tip down there. It's just not part of the economy culture. Definitely worth it to not buy a car down there. But on the other hand, if you do have some savings and you go down there, you could always buy a car. You know, if you really need a car, you got a big family, or you just like that commodity, you could buy a car. That's totally cool too. But I would recommend to save money before you go down there. I think with at least a good, maybe, I would say maybe $5,000 or $6,000, you guys are set. Because remember, that's 4 times as much down there. That's like $20,000 down there. If you enjoyed this video, if you found any takeaways from it, go ahead and hit that like button and just let me know what you guys know about Colombia. I'd love to know what you guys know about it. If you guys want me to make more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that, guys. Ciao.